Dobro utro, dear people from Sofia, and especially dobro utro, dear colleagues and dear friends. I want to tell you this morning something about Waldorf education, and especially why movement and art in Waldorf schools. I will first go back to my childhood and tell you what I remember me from my childhood. In the first place, I went to school to meet my friends and to play with them. And I remember, of course, my teachers. And in the last place, I remember me what I learned in every class. I have not a special image how it looked like. Most of it I have forgotten. How does this come? To understand, I have to tell you how we are looking to a human being in Waldorf schools. How we are looking to the psyche, to the soul of a young kid. We can divide the soul in three parts. In thinking, in feeling, and in willing. Of course, the thinking has its center in our head, in the brains. The feeling has the physical point of engagement in the chest area, in the lungs and the heart. And the will finds its physical point of engagement in the limbs, legs and arms, and in the area of digestion. And now about the features of these three parts. The thinking is based on the activity of the brains that brings in life the capacity of planning and bringing order. And this is, of course, very nice that we can think. But when a human being is very young, is a child, is a toddler, we have to pay attention of thinking too much, because when you are thinking, you use a lot of energy what you take from the rest of your body. And a young child needs this energy to develop his organs, and especially to develop the brains in the right way. So it's very important that the very young ones don't think too much. I tell you more later. In willing or acting, heat is generated where the rest of the body can benefit from it, and we look at the digestive area, and then we can say that there is produced a lot of energy, and there is a lot of power and heat regenerating from our movement from our limbs and our digestive area. From this area comes the real power and the real energy, the real heat. But there's always a danger in it when we should only move only and only eat. That should bring only chaos in life. Think of a baby, it's only moving in a chaotic way, it's eating all day and sleeping. Now we go to the feeling, and the breast is the middle area between the head and the limbs and the digestive area. When we look to the lungs and to the heart, it moves really a lifelong. It can move 80 years long without stopping. At the end, we know, and all of you will reach this moment sooner or later, breathing and heart beating will stop. But how is it possible that it can move so long without becoming tired? And this has to do with the secret of the rhythm. In a rhythm, there's always an acting moment and a resting moment. Always. And this moment of rest makes it that it can move 70, 80, 90, 100 years long. And this very special quality we use very much in our education. And in cultural way, art is most connected to this area of our soul, to the feeling part of our soul. When we see a nice picture, when we hear nice music, we feel it in our way, how we are breathing and in our heartbeat. Directly, especially when we have an experience what is very big, then we can feel it. Then we can feel the heart, when we have big emotions, that the heart is beating very quickly, or when we have big fear, that we can't breathe anymore from fear. So, these three parts we use in our schools, in our education. So you can say that the Waldorf school is organized in such a way that we say from 0 till 7 we are focused on the will, on moving. And in the school time from 7 till 14, the focus is on the feeling and on the experience. And in the third part of our school, the time from 14 till 21, but in Waldorf we go to school till 18, it's the focus on the abstract way of thinking. So you see that the school is in such a way organized that it covers how the soul is organized. And how do we teach in the kindergarten? I told you, in the kindergarten we are focused on doing. So the teacher is never explaining what you are going to do. The teacher starts to sing, for example, a song, or is starting a play with the kids. And what is very important in this age is that a young child, a toddler, follows the gestures of the adults immediately and perfectly and in a very subtle way. So when, for example, I saw Margarita, our English teacher, teaching in the kindergarten last time when I was here, and she was doing so many plays and so many songs. She did not explain, and she made very nice gestures. And the kids were following perfectly all these gestures. Not only the gestures from the limbs, from the hands, but also the gestures in her face. And they saw everything and they were imitating it. That is the power of the kids. They can imitate really very good. And from this quality, we use this quality. So that's why we are doing only with the kids. And they like it. And in the moment that you are going to explain, they lose interest. And there's coming chaos. Also, when you want to learn something about the world, for example, how a farmer works, you are doing it in place, and of course in very nice stories. And you are not only telling it, you are doing it with them. So when you prepare the field with the horse and the plow, then you are doing it with the kids. And when you have the harvest, you are doing in gestures this harvest movements. And of course, the kids are drawing about this and painting about this. And what they like also very much is this listening to the fairy tales. There are so nice images in these fairy tales, they like very much. I've seen them with the finger in their mouth and listening to the teachers, and the eyes are going a little bit closed. They don't sleep, of course not, but in this mood they are listening to the nice stories of the kindergarten teacher. Okay, so this was the will, and especially in the kindergarten, learning by movement, the right movements. And now we go to the school, first till 8th grade in Waldorf way, and there we are still doing our movements, because we don't forget it. It's part of the soul, and we use the will and to move, to learn. And but there is coming something new in it, that is experience. We always learn by experience. For example, when we do the by maths, the tables, we are learning them. And for example, the table of 5. Then we can tell about a dwarf. And then I tell as a teacher, okay, the dwarf has to dress himself, but it is really cold. It is really very cold outside. So we have to dress very good. So, and then we start to put on our trousers. Right, and then left, and then we have to put on our coat. Left and right, and then we put on our hat. And we do it in this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the hat 5. And then we continue. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on, and so on. In this way, we are doing maths. And when we have the experience of the table of 5, then we start to work in our notebooks. Not in the opposite way. First, to have the experience, and then work with our brains and in our notebooks. Another example is when we are in the 5th class, for example. And in Waldorf schools we are learning then in a geographical way something about Holland. How it is, what is the shape of Holland, and so on. And you can learn it out of books. And I did it in a different way. Because I knew, in the age of 7 till 14, the feeling is important. So then you need nice experiences, so that the feeling becomes his food. And I took 5 berries of clay from outside, and I put it in my classroom, and then I started in groups. I had a class of 30 kids to make with clay Holland. And at the end we learned, of course, the more economic, geographic part of Holland, and how, what kind of qualities we have in our bottom and in the ground. And at the end we did also the topography of Holland, also by movement, also by walking from one village to another village, from one city to another city. And at the end we did not knew a lot about Holland. Yes, of course, we did know a lot, but Holland was incorporated. It was not only in our head, it was in our whole body. And it gave the kids really a lot of satisfaction. And we invited the parents, and they came to the classroom and saw this big Holland, 4 meters long, 2 meters wide, and they made pictures and so on, and the kids and the parents were really very proud. And in groups, they were telling, in groups of 3, everything what they knew about Holland to the parents. It was really nice. Another example, in the 6th grade, we have physics for the first time. And how to have experience. So first you do a kind of experience, or you call it a test, and the kids are doing this. Then the second step, the kids are drawing this test, this physical test, and they are writing in a nice way what they saw or what they heard from this test. So they were writing about their experience. And then next day we were talking about the explanation of what they saw. So first of all, we were doing, so the will. Then we were drawing in a very nice way and writing in a very nice way what we saw. Here is the feeling and art. And then on the third place, what you can learn from this. And here you see that that we start always by doing. At the end is thinking, learning to know, and in the middle part there's always art. And with help of art we do our place. And then when the kid is 14 years old, then there is such a strong base based on working with the limbs, based on working with the feelings and the experiences. Then the base is strong enough to go to the real abstractions. Because we know, and that I told you at the beginning of my story, the abstractions who are stealing the energy of the rest of the body. But now it is no problem anymore, because the rest of the body is strong enough for the abstractions to steal some energy. And in this way you can see that learning in a Waldorf way is not only learning by heart in the way that you are only working with your head, but it is more like a play. One experience I had with a kid at the end of the first grade, the kid came to me and was very emotional and said, teacher Ned, I can read, but I didn't learn it at all. So this kid told me, this is the way, how we do it in Waldorf way. During the time we are moving, we are playing, we are learning a lot. And the kid is only moving and playing and learns. So now you see that learning in a Waldorf way, in a Waldorf school, is, let's say, one big experience and nice, and young people are very happy to come to our school and don't think they don't learn enough, because I can say that in Waldorf schools we learn more than enough, and Waldorf education is all over the world highly regarded. I thank you very much for your attention and see you next time when I'm here in Sofia. Thank you very much.